Services, Blavazi and who1.co.uk present the 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast.
Hello and welcome to the 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast, episode 605. I'm Adam and Bill. And here's Mary Lang.
Moby Dick, honestly, shut up and get to the whale.
You shouldn't be able to see it, Mary. I've got my Udi on today. And Kirby Bartlett Sloan.
Nardole, are you secretly a badass?
Yeah.
So what? To save me having to remember episode titles, whatnot, we're going to call this the Monk Trilogy.
Yes,
so pleased to
that's
get
all you
through
have to
3
say,
episodes in
although-
one hit. What did you say?
It's extremist pyramid of the end of the world in the lie of the land.
Yeah, and you won't be happy because I'm flying through
Ascending
these.
order of when they were broadcast and descending order as far as quality.
What? Oh, right. Shut up. Okay, right. So the first one, I think, Billy, you said it's extremist, didn't you? Something like that. Now you've put me right off the beginning. Right, give me a cue for the beginning bit, because I've now lost where I was now. I remembered it earlier on. The beginning bit of extremist, so I can pick it up from there. Don't tell me you can't remember.
Start it up and see. Let's see.
You're going to start it up.
really?
That's helpful, isn't it?
It's the execution of Missy.
That's it. Thank you. Right. So there's a few flashbacks throughout the first 2 episodes of the execution of Missy. The Doctor has been called in to do this execution, as it has to be done apparently by a Time Lord, and not a lot of them available according to this storyline. And then Nardole rocks up looking like one of the traitors, but I think this is before traitors was invented, but it did look quite cool when he turned up and did his little speech and stuff. And then Bill's on a date, and she's got this girl round the house, and there's quite a funny scene where her is it a stepmother or foster mother or whatever it is,
Foster mother
thinks that she's got a bloke in there, and she starts kicking off.
Yeah.
Turns out it's not a bloke, and she's all right with that.
Really?
Yeah, which is quite funny.
Girl, that's right.
Yeah. Very obviously slightly behind the times. This lady, anyway, she goes off, and in the middle of this Bill trying to pull this young lady, and I think a cardinal or a pope or something like that turns up.
It's the Pope shows up.
Yeah. But the obviously was a slightly irritating thing with the Pope thing. It's only slightly irritating, but the TARDIS was about and it didn't translate the language much as it should have done. Oh, here we go.
No.
What?
Master.
What?
It's a simulation.
The TARDIS still should do it in a
There's no
simulation.
reason for the TARDIS to translate. It's a simulation.
Is that supposed to be a clue that it's a simulation?
Not really. But
Okay.
when you approach this episode, however many years later, it's very interesting to watch it, knowing that now that it's a simulation.
Okay. Before we move on, I forgot to mention the viewer.
The only real part is the execution of Missy.
Okay.
Yes.
Lillian Robbins says, well, finally. Neil James says, hello, you wonderful fans of the greatest sci-fi fantasy TV show ever made. And then, good evening, lovely Lillian. Oh, here we go. I've missed you. Lillian, hi, Neil. Terry James, hello, everyone. Terry Miles, sorry, beg him, not Terry James. Creative Cloud keeps on loading up. That's probably what's slowing my computer down. I'm just going to shut Creative Cloud down. Bear with. This is high-quality podcasting.
Yes,
Right,
it
that's
is.
shut down now.
It's the best podcast out there.
No, I don't think it is. Right then. Where did I get up to? Oh, yeah, so but between them flashing back, because obviously the Doctor can see during these executions of Missy, because it's a flashback to before she was put in the vault. It's quite obvious now she's the one in the vault with this particular storyline. And we have a flashback to the Doctor is sort of trying to get by using Nardole to make out that he can see. But he's also created something within his special glasses that creates like a... do you remember that game Asteroids, where everything was in a sort of made out of lines and the little gun would rotate using the power thing? It was just like line work graphics, and they had these boulders used to fly down. The little sort of pointer thing would shoot the boulders. Asteroids, it's a classic game from the late 1970s, early 80s. Come on, peeps. Anyway, that's what he
I'm
could see
aware of
through.
it.
What?
Yeah, I don't remember a game like that.
When he's looking through the glasses, he sees everything in that sort of outlines, and pink sort of green sort of outlines, like in ancient video graphics. I'll look it up.
Yes.
Oh, you
I
agree with me?
you.
You agree with me? Oh, good, that's right. Anyway, so that's how the Doctor sees the world. He can sort of make out things. He can also see things that people can't see with the naked eye, like rooms beyond walls and stuff like that.
But in the second episode, he cannot see combination locks, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, can we move on?
Weird, yeah.
Why are you on episode 2 when we're up episode 1? Anyway, so
I was talking about the interface.
Whatever. There's a book, isn't there, called this? What's it called again? Extremis or something like that? Hello, anybody there? Anyway, there's a book.
Extremis or something else.
And
Book written long time ago. Yep.
Yes. So anyway, so the Doctor won't be able to read it
far
because
away.
he's blind. But anyway, they eventually, after going through these catacombs and corridors and whatnot, and a few people get sort of kill themselves and go a bit freaky, and the Doctor ends up in the chair where the book is, and he uses a bit of software that you can. What?
Master.
What?
The book is called Veritas.
Veritas.
Oh, that's right.
That's
It's
it. Well done,
Veritas.
Kurt. Okay,
Yes.
you get one of these. See, I told you it'd be quite handy to help me out with this one. God, anyway. Anyway, for Kirby, you forgot to make me do me sound checks. So you need to say something.
Why don't you do a sound check?
Yeah. Not too sure that's very good. I'm going to
Why is my phone going off?
Somebody wants you to do a sound check?
Where's it going off to?
Ha So yeah, so the Doctor he manages to read the book through an audio facility that reads the text and stuff like that. And I'm starting to lose the plot. Anyway, so a lot of stuff goes off because I don't want to race through these, but it turns out because they find
good story summary. A lot of stuff goes on.
Hang on, I've got.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a bit where they went into this there was a room that. Remember, I said the Doctor could see rooms beyond walls, and he sees this room, and they go through into this room, which happens to be like a time portal thing, and so. They go through a couple of these time portal things, one of which Nardole and Bill goes through, and they're in a thing where there's bombs under the tables, and they've got 5 minutes left, and they're counting down. And this chap says, right, think of a number, and they think of a number, and all the people think of the same number, etc., which freaks everybody out. And then the time starts running down really, really low, and Nardole and Bill just about escape. When they get back into the porthole, there's lots of blood everywhere, which Bill surmises is the Doctor's. And then Nardole says, hang on, and he puts his hand behind these sort of beams that are, that creating this 3D effect or whatnot, and finds that he starts getting pixelated, and then he disappears, because then he's, I'm not real, then Bill's not real, then, and then it becomes that it's all a, what did you call it? Simulation.
Simulation.
Yes.
It's all a simulation. It's all the reuse of that pixelation special effect that they loved to do back in that time.
And the Doctor sort of realised this, and so we find out in this episode basically these monk things are doing simulations to see how easy it would be to take over Earth.
Yeah, but at the end of everything, there is no real. It's not explained why they want the Earth. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's just one of many worlds that they conquer and take total control of.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's their hobby.
So why?
It's their hobby.
Just control everything.
Well, you could say the same about Hitler invading Europe. He just sort of wanted every country to be like him, I suppose. And that's some of the sort of things what megalomaniacs do, don't they? They just go around invading and converting. And that's what these odd people were trying to do. So that sort of... Does that sort of sum up episode 1, really? That's all a big simulation?
It does.
Yeah. It's episode 2.
Do I need to help you with episode 2 now?
Well, he might have to, but I know the Doctor gets imprisoned by the monks who have... I think, is it episode 2?
No, that's episode 3.
Oh, is it? What's episode 2 then? So give me a start off with episode 2.
Let me get to the menu.
Blur now, yeah.
God. I thought you'd be ready for this.
Pyramid at the end of the world. Now, Bill again gets with the girl and explains everything.
Yes.
And ends up with the Pope actually appears this time. It was just Cardinal.
Thank you. I thought it was just a Cardinal for the last time. I do remember that bit. But anyway.
Yeah.
Don't tell me the whole thing, because I'm going to...
A pyramid appears in the same country that all of the Zygons were in a few episodes ago.
Yeah, all right. Well, can I just say, right?
Yeah,
the pyramid appears. The Doctor is this the one where he's made president? I'm pretty sure it is. Because it's an emergency.
Yeah, they make him president.
He's back into president again. Oh yes. So eventually, after some shenanigans, Bill. Well, they keep on asking people that they want to sort of. Is it like not so much be the pilot, sort of to be the one who distributes all the information about the monks and stuff, and everybody they ask is not suitable until they get to Bill, who when the Doctor's looks like he's going to get done in, Bill sort of agrees to partake in whatever the monks want him to do, and because I think it's because she genuinely loves the Doctor, they said, okay,
that's
then
at the very end of this. You're skipping over the whole.
Well, go on. What am I skipping over then, Kirby? Quickly, not massively.
The whole thing is that the one scientist has a massive hangover and makes a mistake and.
Oh yes, sorry, I forgot about that bit. So yeah, I must get slightly detached. I'll talk about this later. Yes, there's a lab, isn't there? And they got two scientists, one of which was my parents of aliens. He was the dad, alien.
Yeah.
And the other one was a smaller scientist with blonde hair, and they were trying to contain.
Rachel Denning is her name.
Yeah, they were trying to contain this rather vicious virusy thing, which eventually kills the bloke from My Parents Are Aliens. And then Nardole and the Doctor eventually turn up, don't they? And Nardole gets he walks out. Oh well, I'm not human, so we better not take a chance. But he goes back into TARDIS and sort of just disintegrates. And the Doctor nearly disintegrates.
No, he doesn't disintegrate.
He does. He's
just extremely sick.
All right, anyway, he's in the TARDIS, lying on the ground, doesn't look too good. Right. The Doctor, meanwhile, is stuck outside the wrong side of the airlock, and it's to do with this. You said earlier on about the combination, didn't you?
Right. He figures out how to defeat things.
Yeah.
But
Bill, I forgot to mention this. Bill said, "Please give the Doctor his sight back, and I'll do everything you want." That was basically the crux of her conversation with the monks. And so suddenly the Doctor can see, and he's able to do the combination and get in just before this virusy thing is released into this chamber, and then blasted.
No, the virus is in the chamber. He's immune to it because he's not human.
But they want to blast it.
It's about the virus is about to be purged out of the entire.
Yeah, but the Doctor wants to blast it, but he doesn't want to be in the room when the blast happens.
Correct.
Yes,
there, you got it.
Thank you. But he does get out of it in the end anyway. And I can't remember what was the end of the second episode, please. Hello.
The end of the second episode is Bill has said you can save the Doctor, or she tells the monks save the Doctor.
I've said that
and
bit. I've said
you
that
can take everything.
Yeah, but it ends with the Doctor escaping the explosion. And that's about it, isn't it? Yeah. So the third episode starts with more or less, there's everything's taken over. There's a new history, but some people don't believe the history created by the monks. The monks have helped human race all the way through time, that sort of thing. So they're all sort of been brainwashed. But one woman has been sort of stirring things up a bit, and she gets carted off to a work camp for 10 years or something like that. The Doctor, meanwhile,
she's not the only person who does it. It's implied.
No, I
know
that.
Other people also can.
And Bill's sort of walking around telling
you.
us.
You also, Master.
Yes.
You also pointed out last time that this is on that same street that you're always that you recognize as a standard filming place. That at one point you had a friend say, "Oh, they're filming outside my."
Yeah, that's High Street,
house.
Penarth. Yes. High Street, Penarth, He never mentioned. He doesn't live there anymore anyway, so he wouldn't give me any heads ups about things filmed there now. So Bill's sort of telling more or less what's going on. She starts having conversations with her mum as well, who I've met.
Yes.
I've met her, by the way. I always thought she'd become a bit more in stuff, but I don't think she's done anything else since then. I think that the Doctor's in prison, and they work out where he is. Is it Nardole that works out where he is?
Well, yes and no.
Yeah.
It turns out that the Doctor sent Nardole to Bill to say that, to kind of set up Bill for this fake escape. Because it's not really an escape. He could have gotten out at any time. He's just trying to set her up.
Okay. Anyway, so eventually she finds it.
And I've always been bothered by the fact that she would have never shot him.
Okay. Well,
right.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I suppose it's difficult to work out how much pressure a person's been under in the 6 months since she, tried to help and sort of messed it up, and then had
the monks have been there forever. Don't you remember?
I know, but she doesn't believe that, does she? And she had total faith in him, and then I don't know, maybe she just went a bit mad for a second. But be quiet. I've got power issues with my phone. So she comes in there, and the Doctor calls the guards. Of course, the guards come in, and he winds her up enough to shoot him, and he starts regenerating, but he's not regenerating, he's just messing around and has a laugh with Nardole, and so on they go. I've got stuck now. Where do we get up to next? What's the next bit? Sorry, Kirby.
Just turn it over to Kirby and let him tell the story.
No, we'd be here all day. So it's a 3-part story, isn't it?
You mentioned the regen. I was looking at my phone. Sorry, you mentioned the regeneration.
Oh my God! Yeah, so we got up to the regeneration bit, and they're all together, and he's got a little band of cronies, and
everybody on the ship is actually free of the control of the monks.
Yeah, because they got a little tape player going in their ears. Why was it a tape player?
Not yet.
Okay, but we'll come back to that later on. But I want to ask the question why it's a tape player and not like a MP3 player or something like that. It's probably for the
I
script.
asked that 7 years ago.
It's probably just so it was obvious it was broken when he shot it. I don't know. Anyway, so what happens next? Right,
I made the comment that one of those people is probably listening to the same tape that Star-Lord listens to in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Fair enough. Right, next, after the bit where they've all reunited, and the Doctor is now leaving this cell thing, what's happening next then? Apart from the fact he wants, the only way around, the only thing they can do to save them is release Missy, or ask Missy's advice. Yes.
They go and ask Missy. He consults with Missy. Missy gives him a fake thing where she says she's defeated the monks, and you've got to kill the main person who
Bill
started it, which would be Bill.
Yeah.
But I don't believe her for a second.
And we also see the bit where I don't know if it's this episode or the previous one, where the Doctor pretends to execute Missy.
That was in the first episode. We already went over that.
Yeah, I didn't say about the actual outcome of that. And the outcome was Missy being put in the vault. And he says, well, I promised that I'd look after the body for... How many years was it?
1,000 years.
How many?
1,000.
1,000 years.
It might have been longer.
Yeah.
It's 1,000.
Yeah, that's right. So that he covers himself on that one quite well.
But Missy misleads them that they have to kill, or... Actually, she has 2 stories for defeating the monks. She says she's defeated the monks. She says you either have... First thing she says is you have to kill the person who started it. And the second thing was, no, don't kill them, just blank their mind.
Right,
so they're just a husk.
So they've got to go on a mission to find this inner sanctum where there's a monk sat in a throne who's beaming out all these lies to everybody. And the Doctor thinks that he can use his mind to, or you don't know, because otherwise you wouldn't be asking me, to save everybody and just remind them that the monks are fake.
That's the scene where they're all wearing the headphones.
That's it. Anyway, one of them gets he breaks his tape thing and he points a gun at the doctor's head and suddenly disappears, and because he's been done in with a Nardole Vulcan,
Right. He doesn't
pinch.
disappear. He's been knocked out.
That's what I meant. He disappears from
That's not what you said.
Yeah, you're being a bit awkward there. When I say he disappears from the danger disappears because Nardo does a Vulcan neck pinch. Anyway.
Yes, that's one of the best things in this episode.
There's a couple of
Most
Star
of this
Trek references in the
is
story.
rubbish.
There's a couple of Star Trek references in the episode. There's a teleportation thing. There's not Star Trek, but they use teleportation in Star Trek. And then there's this Vulcan neck pinch. And there's another reference, which I can't remember. And once they're inside, the Doctor tries to use his own mind, but it doesn't work. He gets thrown across the room. And when he's unconscious, Bill sort of ties him. A bit like Silence in the Library, when River Song ties the Doctor up so she can, use herself to...
Yeah,
blast
Master,
it.
that seemed to be the theme of these 3 episodes, is to just go back and repeat stuff that's always.
Right. Well, you're really saying what we're supposed to say at the end of it, Kirby. We're not at that stage yet. It seems that you're quite excited about the prospect to jump ahead for a change. Anyway, So the Bill decides she's got to.
I like disliking an episode even worse than Mary.
Do you realise I'm not going to ask you because you've already told me what you think of the episode?
No,
so I'll just jump straight. No, I'll jump straight to Mary. So Bill uses herself. She sacrifices herself. At least she thinks she's sacrificing herself. But apparently, her mum being in the sort of thread thing is enough to mess up the monks, and they run. And that's why my quote was Bill, because it's the only word that Bill's mum says throughout her time on the show, just Bill. And
that's it.
Yeah.
Well, Master, the actress who played her mom is a Time Lord. She was in Day of the Doctor in the War Room as a Gallifreyan or Time Lord.
Anyway, I've met her. So everything's sort of fixed, really, apart from there's, the Doctor sort of says to the Bills, well, about all these, what they think of these sort of statue bases, and the girl says, I think I just thought they were filming something here, stuff like that. So
obviously they were just filming something.
Then the Doctor says, well, you've still got been waiting 6 months for this assignment, blah blah blah, and then that's essentially the end of the story.
Well, it's pretty cool. It's the assignment on free will.
Okay, thank you. Right then, so this story. Now, for me, it's not really a story. It's a collection of scenes that are quite interesting. So there's story elements to it, which are a bit silly. But each scene is like, I think, well, that's quite interesting. The thing that got me the most was the bit with the scientists and this virusy thing. They could have taken that out completely. I didn't think it was necessary for the story. And actually, they could have based an episode around that scenario and panned it out and made it a bit more interesting. Maybe with a few more casts, and made it a base under siege episode just with those two. It was a base of a fairly good story, in my view. But they sort of shoehorned it into this thing, which was a bit odd. Well, and I didn't engage with that part of the story particularly well. I thought the monks were okay, a bit silly, but it's typical sort of weird sort of villainy type creatures. I thought to them, well, they're not very nice looking. How would they procreate? Because you wouldn't go anywhere near. I wouldn't have thought they'd be like wanting to go with.
It's a science fiction fantasy TV show.
Okay, fine. Like I say, it was just a bit sort of. I basically got it, the storyline, but it's just there was a large degree of confusion for me with it. I'm not going to say it was absolutely terrible, because the acting in it was really, really good, especially from Pearl Mackie. She was amazing in this. All 3 episodes, she was fab. And of course, it was nice to see Matt Lucas in full comedy and dramatic form, both in the same thing. But it just sort of was a bit all over the place. It wasn't sort of 1 minute they're there, then they're over there, then they're doing this, and they're associating themselves with these people who are not associated with the previous or the next episode, and Yeah, so I can understand they felt they'd invented a new sort of baddie alien-y thing, and so let's make the most of this. But I don't think it was worth it to use 3 episodes up for this sort of thing. I don't know. And the regeneration sort of scene was it's a bit of a red herring, but in the end it wasn't really worth doing. It was a bit silly again, and like Mary said, would Bill, even after the trauma she's been through, would she really shoot the Doctor? I seem to remember Martha going through a similar trauma in that one where the Master that comes back. You remember what I'm talking about? Master takes over the world, and Martha has to go to get that key, and
Martha's year-long pilgrimage thing.
Yeah, and she falls in love with
Doctor.
She falls in love with Luther and all that sort of stuff, and the Doctor's shrunk into a little golem-y thing, and I felt that I had sort of areas of that, and and there's a scene
that story better than this one.
Yeah, but there was another scene in that where the Doctor has to, or in the previous episode, has to make the companion not believe in him. So was that the Tom Baker Doctor? It's happened before anyway, where the Doctor has to break the companion to get past a certain part of the storyline. Anyway, right. So
the first story, Ark in Space, where he
with Sarah Jane, isn't it?
Sarah Jane crawling through the vent.
That's it. Yeah. There's another scene though. Another scene where he really does have to break the devotion of the companion to progress in the story.
Happened another time.
Yeah, I can't remember which one it was. Anyway, but so I'm not going to say like you do, Gubby. It's really, really terrible. I just think it's too long. It's got it could have made it maybe 2 episodes and made a bit more of a coherent plot, and used the like I say, the scene with the scientist, made an episode out of that. Perhaps, I don't know. I just think it was didn't come together as they really wanted to. But there's some good things in it, but as a whole, it was not really that good. But it's not terrible. Not terrible. I could watch this again and sort of still be confused watching it, but I wouldn't mind. It wouldn't be, I wouldn't watch it and. Yeah, it's one of those things. If you've got nothing else to do, you can put it on, and because you haven't got a storyline to necessarily follow, you can just enjoy the little scenes in it. And I know for certain there's little bits that you can watch that you pick up that you didn't pick up in the previous time. Obviously, like Kirby said, watching it when you knew it was a simulation, that was quite an interesting scenario on a rewatch. When you watch it and see where the bits where it isn't a simulation and then it is, and things like that. So, and also having Michelle Gomez back in the show is fab because she's so good. But again, wasted a little bit in this story. I always have some fab lines and fab scenes with her in it, and her and the Doctor and stuff like that.
Yeah, I saw something where she's in something recently. I don't remember what though.
So I don't know whether to bother with Kirby because we already know what he thinks of it.
No.
Mary, what do you think?
Done?
No, not yet. I haven't got my jingles folder open, so I'm trying to pad it out a little bit. Mary, what do you think? Is it worth? Mary, do you think it's worth it going to find out what Kirby thinks, even though we already know it?
He always gives his opinion way ahead of time.
But mine is flexible.
Oh, is it?
Flexible, huh?
Yeah, what about your opinion, though? Okay, right then, go on then, Kirby. Kirby?
Okay. It was interesting watching this again after so many years. And basically, Extremis, I had remembered not liking Extremis, although I went back and listened to us, and I did like it. And I liked it even better. The Extremis is excellent. Extremis is the simulation one. That is a really good, solid story. I loved it. the Pyramid one is things are starting to go downhill. It's got some good parts. I did not mind the lab sequence, and yet, mainly because it's based on a real thing that happened, I believe, in the 70s. I'm not going to go and look up the exact thing it was, but there was a bacterium that, if it had gotten out, could have caused havoc.
Oh, it's COVID, wasn't it?
I'm not talking about the stunt team from the 70s.
What about the COVID?
Yeah.
Anyway, so the Pyramid at the End of the World was okay, although some of the business with the three soldiers agreeing with each other and not really paying attention to their own governments and stuff. I did find it interesting that the one character, what was his name? The Pyramid. Here, let me check.
Do you want me to play some lift music while you check?
No.
Oh.
The UN Secretary General.
Sorry. Oh yes.
The Japanese gentleman who played the Secretary General.
Yeah.
I immediately recognized him from the IT Crowd, where he was the head of that one company visiting, and he was given some big boots and stomped on Jin's toes. Remember that episode?
No.
No. It's well, all of IT Crowd is hilarious. So anyway, Pyramid at the End of the World was meh, and Lie of the Land is Toby Whithouse's worst episode ever. I'm very disappointed in Toby. I think that he was just told by Moffat what to write, and it really shouldn't be his writing because he's so much better than that. Lie of the Land just sucked. Nothing made sense. The Doctor wouldn't act like that. Bill wouldn't act like that. The best character was Nardole.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So
isn't it interesting though that one of the previous episodes that Toby Whithouse wrote included Matt Lucas's comedy partner in David Walliams, and he's done both of them now. Sort of.
I love Toby, and it was just disappointing.
Okay. All right then, here we go. Brace yourselves. It's Mary.
Well, I'm pretty sure that when we watched this the last time that I hated every bit of it.
Yeah.
And I think this time it was improved slightly by being able to watch it in quick succession. I didn't watch one right after another, but being able to watch them fairly close together helped to tie together, a very thin, hard to hold together plot line. But I think it did improve because of that. But the thing is, we've been here before. Do you remember with the 10th Doctor and Donna, how the Daleks took over? And, they were herding everybody around because the Daleks were really in charge of everything. And I'm trying to remember, Billie Piper character shows up, because the Doctor's not around. The Doctor's
it
like
is very
dead,
similar to that.
Yeah.
And the other scene, Mary, the scene when the Titanic hits the Buckingham Palace, and Catherine Tate and her family are elsewhere, and they watch it all on telly, and it's all to do with the Arachnis and stuff like that, and the Doctor dies and that attack. Remember the Turn Left episode, isn't it? Remember Turn Left episode?
Yeah. So people being herded around, by a controlling alien presence, just brought that one back to mind, and that one was done way better than this one was.
Yeah.
But I agree that that Nardole, this is the best of Nardole. Up until now, he's been kind of to the side and kind of a useless buffoon. But he was useful here, and he was actually funny.
Yeah.
And I think Bill Potts was a decent character in this. And the Doctor, for some reason, he just, I don't know, he seemed like he was kind of phoning it in this time. He didn't seem like he was fully there. but the plot holes, how did they get there, and how was this allowed to happen, and just raised so many questions, because it seems like they would invest in like particular scenes, but I think you brought this up, Adam, that as individual scenes, a lot of things do work, but getting from one to another, it just seemed like it was so loosey-goosey and improbable that it didn't help, the believability of the overall thing.
No.
Not that it has to, but but
it's a science fiction fantasy TV program.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's that, but you want something to hang on to say, whoa, that was a good adventure. When you can predict everything that's happening because it's all happened before. So there's nothing very original in the playwriting, and some good acting, but and slightly improved, being able to watch 3 successive episodes of a one story. And I agree with you, Adam, that story about the lab leak could have made a good episode all by itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, yes, not a favorite, not at all, but not the worst.
Not the worst, no, exactly.
By the way, Mary, you liked Extremis and you didn't like the other 2 last time around.
Okay, well, I can understand that, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's frustrated. Oh, okay.
We were a lot of what was going on the last time around was also we were all speculating because we had no idea what was happening, and also we're all going, oh, Bill's Promacki's gonna continue in and be with the next Doctor as well, and all this stuff, and Nardole ought to continue into the next Doctor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
we're
were
distracted,
just speculating like crazy.
Yeah. But the only thing that I find that's a little bit frustrating, the fact that they've used 3 episodes. Well, they didn't do a lot in the new era of Doctor Who, but they used 3 episodes, and I felt that the time they had, on the screen and that, they could actually geld them to the 3 episodes together a lot better.
They could have,
and turn it into a proper 3-part drama.
It was just a lot of episodes, episode-y like things. But,
they couldn't seem to make up their mind whether to do individual stories with a mini story arc or, a 3-part story, literally 3-part story. They should have just stuck to a 3-part story.
It is so Moffat to have this big story arc, whether you tie it together or you don't.
On the live feed, we
just
have
letting everything, kind of fall apart at the end.
On the live feed, we have Ian Kirk saying The Curse of Fenric is the story where Sylvester McCoy breaks the Ace's faith in him. That's the one I was thinking of. Well done.
Yeah, okay.
Ooh,
Ian, you get one of these?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
He wins the quiz.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. Right. So we can now move on to Kirby's request for feedback. Oh dear, here we go. This will be an interesting one. Oh, look, nothing, Kirby.
Well, we have Ian Kirk put his script on the wrong post, and then there's no comments on the right post. That's it.
Oh, there you go. So that's it then. Thank you. Right then, via the email system, we have. We're going to play this first. You can make yourself a nice cup of or glass of wine, but we are in January, so he should be quite sober.
Well, good afternoon, 20 Megabytes. Andy Lenner here. It is Sunday afternoon, 12:15. Just got back from church, gone to the inspiring service. And before I go and do various things with Stormageddon as to what's busy on the course, I thought I'd do my feedback for the Monk Trilogy. Now, I remember watching this originally, and I think it's safe to say I didn't enjoy it. I did find at the time it dragged. I think when we came to the third one, it's oh my God, can you just put us out of your misery here, please? No. Okay, I watched it again. Okay, it's never going to be one of those I'm going to reach for as immediately want to go and watch some Doctor Who. But actually, it perhaps wasn't as bad as we all thought. Well, certainly it wasn't as bad as it. Now, Extremis, very confusing episode. A very clever episode in places. Still got the fact the Doctor's blind, and it's now slowly being revealed he's blind. That's why he's got these sonic glasses that can help him to see. But you've got the Pope appearing in Bill's bedroom. And it's quite tackling the would-be girlfriend. Not surprising, the Pope pops out in my bedroom. I'd be a little bit worried. And it goes on from there. So he tried to translate this book that apparently anyone who reads it kills themselves, and there's only one person who hasn't. And yep, he might have been wearing a red coat, mine too, or red top rather, because very soon he was dead as well. And you get a whole of CERN who are going to go and top themselves. You never really understand why. And the doctor's going to investigate, and he has to leave Bill and Nardole because they've got this vault going on, and Nardole is just totally fixated on the vault, and we don't know what's in the vault, though we do find out later. And we're moving a lot of guesses around it, most of which we think were wrong. However, the doctor then does find out it's the monks again. The monks have come back, and he manages to realise that actually he's living in almost like an alternate reality. It's a cyber version of the Doctor. And there's a wonderful bit where he says, you send it, I put it all in an email, press send, and taps his nose, and off it goes. And I think, doing them at the time, people say very confusing, very complex, but if you sat and worked your way through it did come out very well, and I think we did enjoy that. And Capaldi's performance in this was excellent. I mean, I think he's always going to be up there, one of the greatest ever Doctors. I know all the fangirls would scream about David Tennant, but I think in pure terms of acting ability, the way you can just dominate a scene, I think Capaldi, you can't go far wrong with Capaldi. So, from that point of view, yeah, Extremis started it well, and I'm not sure at the time everyone knew it was going to be a trilogy, but we thought, here's something good. This is really then when things started to go downhill. We had the pyramid at the end of the world, and yeah, this pyramid that's been there for millions and millions of years, but only been there 6 months, and straight away, what on earth's going on here? You've got 3 major armies. It's a point, I'm guessing it must be somewhere in Asia where the 3 superpowers all almost conjoin and watch each other, a bit like the what's it in the Cold War, the Berlin Wall, or the peninsula between South and North Korea, that sort of thing. But interesting that suddenly they get summoned, and you've got the 3 most high-ranking people, and do you believe in faith? But the monks kill them all because, no, it's not through faith. The Doctor realises, yes, there is something wrong going on here, that these monks nobody does nothing for free. It's just so clear. They've obviously got an ulterior motive, but they keep predicting the world's going to come to an end. You've got the nuclear clock moving, you've got everyone's watches moving, presumably everyone's phones doing the same as well. I wouldn't know, so I don't wear a watch. I haven't worn for 30 years. And so there's obviously a cataclysmic event coming, and somebody has got to do something. The Doctor's still blind. He realises it's biological, and therefore he gets back to the lab with some good scenes in the lab there with the young lady whose name completely escapes me. I'm sure if I went and looked I could find it, but I've seen her before. About what's going on, and he realises he's got to destroy the lab to save it. But before he can get in there, Bill does give her consent, and Bill's faith is in the Doctor. She trusts him implicitly. Why, if he said no, don't do it, why she didn't do it? But I think she realised something's got to be done, and also she trusts the Doctor to get them some way out of it. So hence, that's why she gave a consent, and then, yeah, I think it's safe to say all hell does break loose, and we move into the final part of this story. And so we come to the lie of the land. Very clever story, because the lie of the land could mean the way the land sets out, but of course it's the lie, as in the whole thing is a concocted lie. You get a great show where someone's house gets invaded, wonderful shot of the picture being trodden underfoot, and basically it's martial law, isn't it? We're going to take you away. It's really, oh my God, it's very dystopian there. Everyone's in boiler suits. It does remind me of the Doctor Master story from the 10th Doctor, when he took over the world and everything's subjected to him. And you got the monks have now been in everything, they've done everything. The big flaw for me is they've only been around for a few months. There's all these history books and pictures and archive material showing they're not there. Now, I think it's very convenient that has been ignored, and obviously anyone who does possess these things probably gets arrested and disappears. What is it? The boat captain's son's been tried for 10 years, hard labour for possessing some comics. This is where it started to fall apart, and a really good concept came to an end. You never really understand what the motive of the monks is, apart from world domination. I mean, even the Master in his most lunatic days actually knew what he wanted, and it's like, what are they actually trying to do? What are they going to do? Where are they going to go? And it's interesting the way it's Bill, having first been conned into believing that the Doctor actually is on the side of the monks, realising no, he's not, he's converting people, using iPods, and the one who had his iPod shot and then turned back into what he was before he got deprogrammed. I think that was quite clever, that was. It's using what was then probably state-of-the-art, cutting-edge technology And the iPods are really old things. Having said that, I've still got an MP3 player I use. I digress. To come out, interesting, some of the monks did get killed. How many were there? I think we actually worked out it was about a dozen. The doctor managed to get Bill to do it, because Bill's, you've heard of imaginary mother. Well, obviously her mother was real.
Oh dear, it seems to have stopped.
What happened?
Suddenly it stops.
Yeah, it stops on 6 minutes and 28 seconds for some reason.
That's not the first time that sort of thing has happened with him.
No, it's still on there. It's still some of the audio left to play, but it's just not playing it. How weird. I'll close it down and take it up to 626, and hopefully it'll actually do something. Right. Oh, 20 megabytes. 626, right? 626.
So
Actually, her mother was real. The way she saw her and the goodness in her is what saved the earth. And it's interesting. You can see people realising what's wrong, including the leader of the martial law squad. Even she might be martial arts, I don't know, not. However, and then they've a good gang of people have actually trapped all the monks, and then the pyramid just takes off. And then, of course, conveniently, as happened with things like the invasion and all the times that the Earth's been invaded by alien forces, everyone conveniently to forget. The doctor summons a student with his usual disparaging tones. He's sitting on the relics of one of the monk statues. And that was it. So it was all wrapped up too neatly, too tidily. Presumably the monks are out there. Hope to God we don't ever come across them again. I think all in all, this was a story that could have been so much. It started off with full of promise. At the end of it, I think it ran out of ideas, ran out of steam, and it was just a case of, for God's sake, let's just finish this off and we can go off and do something more interesting. So there you go. That's the Monk Trilogy. And until next time, be seeing you.
Yeah, thank you, Andy. You were going to say something, Kirby, before Andy started talking again. Did you? Have you gone? Oh, Kirby's gone as well.
No, I don't remember what I was going to say. I am going to say that we've had some feedback.
Well, please read it then, Kirby. How exciting!
On Facebook.
Go on then. Oh, I mean on the live feed.
It's no.
Oh.
I don't have the live feed on. This is actually comments that have come in the past few minutes. And can you do something about hearing myself?
No, it's only coming through you. I can't hear anything. You've probably got the video on play. That's why you can probably hear yourself.
No, I'm not playing the video.
Well, I don't know then. I'm not getting you twice, which is quite a good thing.
Yeah, I'm not getting anything. Are you the only one then that's hearing yourself?
Yeah.
It's on a delay, too.
It's on a delay 3 over here. And I mean, that's a joke, by the way. It's not on a delay at all.
Okay, Terry Miles says, one thing to say about the trilogy, it was all right.
Ah, yes.
Neil James, whoever that is. Knock Knock, this is a fun one. David, was he commenting about Knock Knock on a feedback request for, and he just posted this 53 minutes ago. Knock Knock, this is a fun one. David Suchet is fab, and the guest cast of students are good too. Actually, quite a sad tale, great effects, 3 stars. Oh, I see. I had to expand it. 3.5 out of 5 stars. Oxygen. Mm-hmm. This one doesn't do much for me. I've always found running out of breathable air to be a pretty dull trope. Mm-hmm. While the guest cast are perfectly solid, no one really stands out as being memorable. We know the Doctor isn't going to stay blind, so that's a snooze fest too. Bit of a spacey-wacy bore, sorry. 2 stars out of 5. Extremis. The Pope in Bill's bedroom is really funny. The 12th Doctor, Bill, and Ardol are a great combo. The monks are scary, pretty good, but a little too...
Oh.
What was that?
I don't know. Oh, no,
the monks are scary,
no.
Pretty good, but a little too complicated. 3 stars out of 5. Pyramid at the End of the World, great visuals, but this gets boring pretty quick. The monks are still cool. Military stuff is dull. 2 stars out of 5. Lie of the Land, okay, I'm pretty fed up with monks now. No idea what's going on. I'm sure it's actually pretty good, but I just can't engage. 2.5 stars out of 5. And then he also says, hey guys, I missed the last few weeks due to work, so here's a lot of feedback.
Oh,
and let me see.
Let
me see if there is anything else that has popped through.
That's what she said.
No.
Well, that's good then, because Mary's had enough time to digest the text blurb I've just sent her.
Well, I have found it. Okay. And I was just going to comment, but he says, sorry, this feedback's a bit long. Well, it's 3 episodes long. Extremis. So the doctor has Missy in a cage for 1,000 years. That explains who is in the vault and why the doctor has been at the university so long. The doctor is still blind, but his, in quotes, sonic glasses help him see shapes, but not a lot more. Oh no, it's the Spanish Inquisition. Oh, sorry. No, it's the heavies from the Vatican. The Pope would like a word. That word is Veritas, which is a book that when read, the reader kills themselves. I always knew that books were dangerous. Why do monks have mouths like Cybermen? They move at a different pace.
That's true. Yeah, I forgot to pick that up on that one.
Are they ventriloquists? Yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah.
They just kind of like flop their mouths.
Do you know what I thought it was? A forecursor to Bill. Because she was one of those Cybermen, wasn't she? That just opens her mouth up and talks.
I was speculating at the time that they were Cybermen.
Ah, well, I'm sure you were, Kirby.
Yeah. Naughty BBC, they blew up CERN and also killed the American president.
Again.
So it all happened. What are you saying?
Again, they've previously killed the American president.
Yeah. So it all happened in the Matrix, but it still affects real life. Quotes from this one. Doctor, assume nothing. Assumption makes an ass out of you and umption. Bill, Nardole, are you secretly a badass? Nardole,
that was
nothing secret about it, baby doll. Right now, the pyramid at the end of the world. A pyramid spacecraft. Didn't the Goa'uld and Stargate use them? There must be a pyramid spacecraft shop somewhere out there. Yeah. What on earth is Bill wearing? Is that some sort of coat or a dress? Nice bit of misdirection by the ventriloquist monks. Shame they are up against the doctor. The old pandemic started in a biolab trick. I'm sure that's been done before. Oh no, that was real life. Sorry, got mixed up there.
Yeah.
The monks are trying to take over the world, and Bill gave it them. Now the doctor can see. 2 excellent quotes in this one. Doctor, what do you depend on? Nardole, air, water, food, beer? Erica, oh my God. Doctor, no, I'm the doctor, but it's an easy mistake.
Nice one.
All right, now on to the lie of the land. Hum ho, the monks are in charge. Well done, Bill. Why is everyone wearing coveralls? Nardole is back. He has been away recovering for 6 weeks. Now he's back. The monks had better worry. 6 months and there are monk statues in every town square everywhere. A bit far-fetched, really, as it would take a minimum of 12 months to get a planning permit, then a year to construct. Isn't red tape wonderful? Easter egg spotted.
Yeah, magpie,
electrical in the scene outside the TV shop.
Yeah.
Aha. The doctor is a prisoner in Hulk in the North Sea. No way he's a prisoner, but it does look like he's gone over to the other side. When Bill shoots the doctor, even with blanks, an awful lot of stuff comes out of the barrel of a pistol. The doctor was very close to getting hit by bits of blank rounds.
Yeah.
Oh no, they've opened the vault. Oh, they do that quite often. The doctor wants Missy to help him. Michelle Gomez is brilliant as Missy. She has so many funny lines. Nardole can do the Vulcan neck pinch. Oh no, love conquers all again.
Yes.
Yeah. Some quotes in this one. Bill, what noise do spaceship doors make? Nardole, shuck, shuck, of course. Bill, why do you put up with us then? Doctor, in amongst 7 billion, there's someone like you. That's why I put up with the rest of them. Nardole, I used to have an imaginary friend till he left me for someone else. Bill, it's just a woman. God, the way you and Nardole have been carrying on. I thought you had some kind of monster in here or something. Doctor, I do. Bill, wait a sec, why have you got a woman locked in a vault? Because I think that's weird, and I've been attacked by a puddle. Bill, what would be left of me? Missy, you'd be a husk, completely and irrevocably brain dead. You couldn't even get on Celebrity Love Island.
Yes.
I like that.
And me and Dad's
Next
after
up,
that. But
a quick holiday in Mars, in Empress of Mars, in 1881. Linda and Terry Miles.
fantastic. Thanks for the efforts, Linda and Terry Miles. A long write-up there.
Yeah.
So I appreciate
That's a lot
that.
of work.
Yeah. Well, nice that we got on audio from Roy Spearman last time. I thought it was going to be a flash in the pan because it hasn't happened since. However, we do have... it's this one here, isn't it?
Hello, 20 Megabyte Podcast. This is Ian Kirk.
Hello, Ian.
Yay!
Extremists by Stephen Moffat. We eventually find out that the characters are simulations in a computer run by the alien monks to create an invasion plan. The monks don't seem to have heard of moisturizer, by the way. We never get an explanation for how anyone could know they are in a simulation in order to write the Veritas document. The monk's computer should have had a subroutine to sort that kind of thing out. Have they tried turning it off and then on again? Having simulated people is reminiscent of Star Trek's holodeck, as Nardor mentions, but doubts about the reality of the perceived world go back to the ancient Greeks at least. There is a B-plot about Missy crossing to the good side. I would have thought that a bunch of scientists who discover that the world is a simulation would, instead of ending themselves, have a go at trying to work out a way of changing the simulation to benefit themselves. The Pyramid at the End of the World by Peter Harness and Stephen Moffat. Doctor Who has mentioned the butterfly effect a couple of times. By that principle, no simulation could be detailed enough to predict a scientist would break her glasses, causing a world-ending accident, but it is a science fiction fantasy TV show.
Yes.
The Doctor's blindness becomes a plot point. Bill becomes the latest companion in the modern era to save the world, and the Doctor gets his sight back.
Yep.
Reset button. In Smile, the story of the emoticon robots, Bill used her phone to photograph a map of a spaceship. In this, the Doctor could have sent her a photo of the combination lock, but that would have short-circuited the plot. The Lie of the Land by Toby Whithouse. The monks have taken over the earth. Missy says they can stop this if they kill Bill. That sounds familiar. The Doctor pretends that he has gone over to the monk's side, and Bill tries to kill him, but it is just a test of whose side she is on. The monks control the earth from London, because it is a British show.
Yep.
A group, including Bill, get into their headquarters, and she saves the world again by overpowering the monks' mind control. The world rebels against the monks. Then, as usual, everybody forgets about the alien invasion.
Yes.
Wikipedia says a scene was recorded of one of the monks interacting with two of the characters from Casualty, but this was never shown. Bye for now.
Yeah, I wonder if one of the characters was played by Joe Martin, maybe. I don't know. Yes, thanks everybody, or all three of you, for feedback. Right, so I've got a thingy, advert appears in front of my screen I didn't want. Okay, Doctor Who news. Sadly, with Doctor Who news, it's sort of quite gloomy because there's people dying. Barbara Clegg being the first. She wrote Enlightenment. She died at the age of 98 on the 7th of January. And it just says she was born in Manchester in March 1926 as a niece of the founder of the Littlewoods Empire. Littlewoods was a shopping, like a catalogue shopping company where you'd get a catalogue through and you'd order stuff and you get it a bit like Amazon without the internet. You know, you'd get it you'd order something from the catalogue and you'd get it a few days later by the post, and if you didn't like it, you can send it back and you paid it for it by instalments, stuff like that. In the 1960s, she began writing for radio, starting with scripts for Mrs. Dale's Diaries. Television followed, where she contributed to scripts for Coronation Street Crossroads. In 1981, she wrote her first science fiction story, The Chrysalids, adapted from the novel for Radio 4. In 1983, she was asked to contribute a script for Doctor Who, and therefore became the first woman to write a script for the series. The story would be the final one of the Black Guardian trilogy, as in, Enlightenment. So that's Barbara Clegg, and quite sadly, or equally as sad, I should say, is Christopher Benjamin has passed away at the age of 90. I think we'll know who Christopher Benjamin is because he was, yes. Well, I'll read the blurb. It says, Christopher Benjamin is best known to Doctor Who fans for his virtuoso performance in the 1977 Fourth Doctor story, The Talons of Weng-Chiang. He played Henry Gordon Jago, the owner of the Palace Theatre, who teams up with Professor George Lightfoot, as played by Trevor Baxter, to help the Doctor defeat Magnus Greel and the acolyte, whatever that says, acolyte? Li Hin Shang. The chemistry between Benjamin and Baxter ensured that the couple were, they're not a couple, the couple were given their own spin-off audio series by Big Finish, with 14 series of Jago and Lightfoot being released between 2010 and 2017. Benjamin's first appearance in Doctor Who was in the 1970 story Inferno, where he played Sir Keith Gold, the director of Inferno Project. He was one of the few factors who appeared in both the original series. Oh, I misread that. He was one of the few actors who appeared in both the original series and the revived 2005 series, appearing with the 10th Doctor in the 2008 story Unicorn and the Wasp, where he played Colonel Hugh Kirbishley. And then it says he was born in Trowbridge in Wiltshire. He was a familiar face on British TV over 40 years. He was indeed. His passion for acting was developed while at school, and he joined a local amateur group in Bath before doing his national service. His professional debut was in repertory at the Manchester Library Theatre, followed by a stint at Salisbury Arts Theatre. He spent several seasons working at Bristol Old Vic and was a regular performer for the Royal Shakespeare Company. His television work included 3 appearances in the cult series The Prisoner and guest appearances in The Avengers, The Saint, Jason King. In 1967 he played Prosper Profound in the BBC acclaimed series The Forsyte Saga. He was Hugh Boddigan in the original series of Poldark, and Sir William Lucas in the 1995 version of Pride and Prejudice. Other series he appeared in included Heartbeat, Rosemary and Thyme, Midsummer Murders, Foyle's War, Leonardo, EastEnders, Treasure Island, Lovejoy, Magic Grandad, The Tomorrow People, London's Burning Casualty, May Gray, Rumpole of the Bailey, Brass, King Castle, Yes Prime Minister, Casanova, The Diary of Anne Frank, Dempsey Makepeace, Blot on the Landscape, Minder, Shoestring, and The History of Mr. Polly. He survived by his wife, actress Anna Fox, and their 3 children. So, yes, worth me reading all that out because he was a bit of a legend of Doctor Who, Big Finish, and a British TV icon. So, yeah, sad.
Which Casanova was he in? Was he in the David Tennant one?
Well, you could always look it up on Google, but probably, yes.
I'm trying that.
Okay.
I was just asking in case you knew off the top of your head.
What? Did I?
No, I was asking if you was just.
Oh no, I don't know. I never saw Casanova. I never watched that series.
Oh no, it wasn't that one. It was a 1987 one.
Okay. So yes, obviously you see the age of these actors, and you probably think, well, they've had a good old age, and they 90 and 98. Well, obviously Barbara Clegg wasn't an actor, but it's nice that these people have long. And obviously he had all his marbles. He was acting right up to the end. So. Excuse me, got hiccups. So yes, sad days, and that obviously those will be the first on Toby Hadoke's video for
Yes.
next year, his memorandum video for next year, I would imagine. So,
Oh, I see. He worked with. I don't believe it said. It said The Prisoner, and I don't remember what he was in Prisoner, although he was in it. But he also worked with McGowan in Danger Man.
oh, right, okay. Well, it's funny when he said he worked in the original Avengers, with Dinah Rigg and Patrick McNee, isn't it? Yeah. Well, somebody put on the Facebook the other day a sort of a screenshot or something from, or a frame from Avengers with Dinah Rigg in it, and in the background on the shelves little model Daleks. I thought that was quite interesting.
Yes, I saw that.
You saw it? That doesn't surprise me.
That was cool.
It
Yes.
was indeed cool. There's a little advert went out recently also for the forthcoming Star Trek 4 movie. So looking forward to seeing that. Right, so which brings us, talking about movies, on to what we have watched. I haven't been to the cinema since we watched Wicked, which again I have to reiterate was very good.
Yes.
I've watched Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, which I think I've only seen once previously, so it was actually quite nice to watch a film almost like it was brand new. Obviously I know the story because I read the book. I hadn't seen the film previously, but it was nice to watch that one. Been watching Lucy Worsley history program. She's particularly good in the way she presents history, and she did the Gunpowder Plot story from a sort of an angle that shows that the people within the plot were human beings that were radicalised, I suppose you'd call it, and so it was more a sort of more interesting lifelike angle to. Not saying they weren't, they didn't do bad things, and their mission was to kill as many people that disagreed with them as possible, but they had lives, and the same with her previous episode about about Jack the Ripper, which was absolutely superb, and showed that all the women that were maimed and killed by whoever committed these atrocities were human beings that had hard lives. They weren't prostitutes as depicted in most of the newspapers that were using these murders to glorify Jack the Ripper himself, and I also found out subsequently that one of the descendants of one of the murdered ladies was campaigning for the de-glorification of the murders of their ancestor, or murder of their ancestor, I should say. So, very engaging. It really sort of, her programs make you think about the stories, the true stories that she's telling. She's fab, Lucy Worsley. So I've been enjoying those. Watching lots of football because obviously the season's resumed, so there's lots of football on television at the moment. Oh god, yeah, Traitors. Oh my god, yeah, the new Traitors series is on. Absolutely love that. I've been forced into watching Love Island, but I'm trying to avoid it. But it seems that I can't because Deb has it on when I'm in the room. And yeah, it's that's all I can think of at the moment. There's a program I want to watch on Disney Plus, which I'm ready to, and I will do. It's a little documentary about John Williams. I think that's his name.
I've heard of that. I want to see it, but I haven't yet.
Oh, I did watch episode 1 of the Skeleton Thingamajig.
Skeleton Crew. What'd you think?
I quite enjoyed the first time. I think we will delve into the second episode. So yeah, it was good enough for me to think, oh yeah, let's go again. Yeah, and it was quite sweet. The aliens are quite sweet, aren't they, kids and stuff? And I quite like the urban surroundings they created, which they've not really done in Star Wars universe before. It's always been sort of like huts and rural type stuff, but this is like it's like a town, isn't it? They've created, which is quite a sort of deviation from what they've had in the past. So yeah, I'm quite interested to see what the rest of the series has got to offer. But it's a John Williams thing I want to watch more urgently because what a legend he is. I didn't realise how old he was, to be fair. So yeah, that's what I will probably. You lot will probably remind me of something that I have also watched, but those are the things that sprung to mind. What about you, Kirby?
Well, in the last 2 weeks, Did I mention that I watched Valerian and the Planet of a Thousand Whatevers? It's a science fiction film from the guy who did The Fifth Element. Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. It was a huge budget, looks fantastic, and I'm getting feedback with me again.
Oh, sorry about that. It's nothing to do with me, by the way.
Yes, it does. It's coming from your side.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
Yeah, I bought the 4K Ultra HD copy of it. It's very good. It was a box office failure. So it's worth looking into. What else did I watch? I finished up Skeleton Crew. Absolutely loved it all the way through. You should go. You will get involved with Skeleton Crew. It's quite good.
I'm sure I will. We haven't got a lot on at the moment.
It's very much. It reminds me of the Goonies.
Oh yes, I got a bit of that from it. Yeah.
Yeah, and Treasure Planet has bits of Treasure Planet, and it's very good, Star Wars.
Yeah.
Some of the best Star Wars in a while.
Yeah.
Although I really liked, what was it? Oh, I don't remember the name of it. Another one that didn't have as much Jedi stuff in it as most of them. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Next week, going to the movie theater on Saturday to see a Metropolitan Opera live, being broadcast live from the Met. It's Aida. Really looking forward to that. I've seen Aida done this way before, but this is a different staging. So, of course, it's going to be fantastic.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Kirby. Mary?
Well, as always, I'm watching a lot of basketball.
Yeah.
Mostly what I've been watching in terms of non-basketball has been a few series. For some reason, I have a hard time. I look at movies and I think, oh, that looks interesting, but oh my gosh, 2 hours, 3 hours, I don't think I can commit to that, So I'll watch a TV series, and then invariably I get caught up in the TV series and I end up watching it for 2 or 3 hours, every episode, one after another. And so I don't know why I don't just, admit to myself that I'll just watch a movie. But some series that I have watched, and 2 of them are on BritBox, and I think that one has been especially good. It's called Protection, starring Siobhan Finneran. I don't know if you're familiar with her. She's I think she's Scottish, and it's a series. And it's about a protection officer who's the family she's trying to protect gets murdered, and she's trying to find out why and all that, and it gets more and more complicated, which is what I love. I hate simple murder mysteries. I love the ones where there are more complications, and the more you find out, the more you realize you don't know, and that's one of these kind of series. So I really like that, and caught up on a series that has been ongoing for several years. It's called Shetland. And they just came out with a new season, minus the guy who used to be their main guy. I'm trying to remember what his name was. But these were always really good series. I'm trying to see what his... Douglas Henshaw used to be the main detective in this, and he was always really good. But I think the series has gone downhill now that he's not there anymore, and they have somebody else stepping up to be the main detective. A series, an American series that has started that I kind of watched out of curiosity. It's called The Pit, Pitt, because it's a hospital that is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And it stars a guy who was the center but not the main star of a really popular series many years ago called ER. Noah Wiley is his name. And that series started with him being like a new resident at at a hospital, and and it was experiencing an ER, which I think you guys call A&E, at an American hospital. But anyway, so now this series he's like a head doctor in an American ER, and then they're doing a really good job of it. I'm surprised. I don't really like American series very much because they tend to go with the I don't know, with pretty people and easy storylines that are nicely wrapped up and are not, the characters are usually not that interesting, but this one is different. And it's showing on Max /HBO. So I'm getting kind of wound into that one. I really like it. And being a nurse, one thing I always liked about ER when it was on is that they showed a lot of the medical stuff they were doing. And, being a nurse, I could understand, A, what they were talking about, and B, that what they were doing was appropriate. And I understand they had really good, medical advisors on that show. So they seem to be doing it again with this one because, I'm really into all the emergency scenes and what they do because I understand what they're doing. So that's pretty much it. A few the American series and a couple of British series that I've been keeping up with.
Thank you very much, Mary.
Uh-huh.
Right, that's rather fab. So next time, let's have a look at my calendar.
Let me bring up the calendar.
Oh, should really have it ready, Kirby.
And next time, try and fix it so I don't hear myself.
I can't
the
fix
next
it.
story, I think, is Empress of Mars.
Empress of Mars.
That's right,
yes.
Empress of Mars.
Okay.
Yes, well done, Mary. Yes. Nothing.
Which
much
I don't
going
remember being a very good story.
Yeah, well, it's like a bit of fun. Yeah, so we're okay at the moment for next week. Yeah, so we can potentially do that one. So we'll say, I'm just going to book my
Let me
cinema
make a note.
seats.
Empress of Mars. I think it's going to be better than The Lie of the Land.
Here we go.
Yeah, well, I don't know. My memories of it are pretty bad.
The one thing okay, I'm not going to comment about Empress of Mars yet. I've got some stories about Empress of Mars.
Right, okay. So that's what we're going to do next time, Empress of Mars. Yes, more feedback, please, everybody. Oh, I must mention about FantasyCon. FantasyCon, people may have seen that it has indeed. Well, I'm not going to do one this year for various reasons. One, my mind's frazzled from dealing with my mum's ill health and subsequent death. We've also
sorry, I saw your posting, and I was sorry to see that.
No, thank you. And we've had issues trying to get sponsors to confirm, and I don't want to be sort of getting stressed out going into the wedding season about organising stuff not being sure we have a sponsor. So also I was a bit demoralised by some of the cosplayers boycotting the event. Very few. We did have a really good turnout, but when I hear people saying that, using the word boycott, when all we're doing is working really hard to create an event for the community and stuff. And then today, when I said about the fact that we haven't got sponsors, so we need sponsors, somebody posted, "Oh, that can't be a very successful event if they need sponsors." And I'm thinking, well, John Giddings, who runs the Isle of Wight Festival, his event actually been voted the most successful event on the Isle of Wight for quite a while. So he must take the advice to not have sponsors this year, because he's had sponsors every single year that they've had the Isle of Wight Festival, and quite big corporate sponsors like Nokia and company, or Cinch and companies like that. So it's just been a lot of negative feelings within me. I've had a lot of people saying, "Oh, really sad to hear it's not coming back this year," but it's just too much for a little person like me to deal with the mental strain that doing the event on top of doing 2 full-time jobs, and I've had 2 years of dealing with my mother's stuff. So I think, if we had the sponsors come through, I'd probably say, okay, we'll do it. But it's just, if people want the event that much, and believe in the event like we did, then hopefully by 2026 we'll have a committed sponsor and we can do the event again. But as of this year, sadly not. I have messaged Colin Baker and he totally understood the decision not to do it. So.
Oh, that's right. He was already planning on coming back, wasn't he?
He was booked, yes, but he's not booked anymore.
He's booked, really?
He was booked.
Oh?
Yeah, booked. So, thank you, everybody who supported FantasyCon. Yes, we love you. We love you, FantasyCon fans that have, and also obviously listeners to the show and stuff that have also supported the event from afar. As I say, I hope we come back. I can't guarantee it, obviously. It does rather depend on a lot of factors, but we'll look into that next year or towards the end of this year and see how we go on. Now I've got a Dalek in my shed I've got nothing to do with. Sorry?
Master, it was interesting remember, I listened to us for each of these stories that we talk about now. I go back to however long ago. And in 2017, you guys were all excited because you were getting the first Comic Con on the Isle of Wight.
Yeah, Isle of Wight Comic Con, yeah.
Yeah. Whatever happened to that?
It died, it went bust.
Okay.
It's why we did it. We took over the spot.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, it went, it bust. They didn't do a great job they just overbooked guests and stuff. And the Isle of Wight's a difficult place when it comes to the cost, just to get across the Solent. It's very expensive. And that's why we were so pleased to have Red Funnel as our sponsors. That's the company that runs the ferries, because they just cover the cost that would have befallen to us to get people across the Solent. So, yeah, it is sad and disappointing, but it's just at the end of the day, I know it's really difficult for people to believe, but I'm only human. I need to, not to be stressing out about stuff. So, anyway, on top of that, thank you very much for listening, watching, taking part in the show. Do come back again next time and send in some feedback. Bye.
Goodbye, Fancy Pants.
Bye.
The 20 Megabyte Doctor Who podcast is an APV Services production, sponsored by whowon.co.uk and lavazi.co.uk. We are proud members of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance. Doctor Who is a trademark of the BBC. No copyright infringement intended. The music on this podcast is covered by limited online music license from PRS for Music.